Now watch what I'm gonna do. He started it, I'm gonna flip him over. You may think that's mean.
What's up, guys? So this video isn't something that I really wanted to post, but I feel like I have to post, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack from both sides, from the small time keepers to the big name keepers, but I feel like this needs to be talked about, and I feel like it's just been brushed under the rug way too often, way too much. So we're just gonna get into it. I've read, seen, and heard a lot of horror stories, so to speak, around Camp Kenan. And don't get me wrong, Kenan has a lot of knowledge on a plethora of different animals and different species and of whatnot, whatever, you know what I'm saying. However, I put together a short video that I'm going to attach to the end of this, and I'll go over the contents. First, you'll see someone that was a customer at a reptile expo, and they had bought a couple Sulcata babies from him. And long story short, shortly after getting them home, they realized that they had some type of bacteria. They let Kenan know, and don't get me wrong, he did handle it. However, I think he could have been way more professional as to how he handled it. And you guys can read that information. But the next thing is, recently he posted a video of Sulcatas, him moving his two males together, and he just kept flipping his Sulcatas. Now the flip itself, to get them flipped over on their back, that's not necessarily bad or whatnot, because the tortoise isn't going to die if it's on its back for even a couple minutes. However, it's the repetitive flipping that could be an issue to some people. It just doesn't sit right with me personally. But then whenever he flipped them back on their feet, the right way, on their feet, he was doing it with zero regard to the actual feet, but had the audacity to not only make jokes about flipping them, but talk about how you have to be careful with their feet because you could break their leg, which should be common sense, but he did not even use caution whatsoever when he was flipping them back. The next thing, and the final thing right now, is his newest, or at least to my knowledge, his newest rescue, Redfoot Lego. Not only, like, I take in rescues, I take in surrenders all the time, and some of my surrenders are pyramided. Thankfully, nothing as severe or even as close to as severe as Lego. But Lego is not only pyramided, she also has metabolic bone disease, or MBD. And in the video of him unboxing her, you can hear him state that. But whenever we take in an animal, whenever we take in a rescue or a surrender, we quarantine them to make sure that they're not sick. And if they are sick, we can handle that and not risk the exposure to our herd. That's just kind of common practice with anything, whether it be tortoises, fish, other animals of any sort. You should always quarantine your animal before, your new animal, before introducing it to your existing animals. However, an animal with as severe pyramiding and MBD as Lego, she should not have been introduced to an established breeding herd or colony whatsoever. But he gave zero regard, whatever, to that, understanding that obviously he is, again, very knowledgeable, so he knows, and he's even experienced situations with females being egg-bound, but he put in that female. At that point, he might not have known, in the first video, he might not have known that it was a female, but then later discovered that it was a female, and pointed off different things that were wrong with this tortoise, the tail being one of them, the shell obviously being the main thing. But with a tortoise that's like that, she shouldn't be bred, not because she can pass that stuff down genetically, because that's not possible. In most cases, I'll state, it's not genetically possible to pass it down. However, she could get egg-bound and die. Now that leads to speculation that maybe he doesn't have all these animals and this great care for these animals just because he loves these animals and, you know, is trying to do what's right. But maybe it's so he can continuously breed these animals and get money, because he charges ridiculous. He's on the higher side of anything that I've ever seen price-wise. And hey, if you can make that, then awesome. I'm not dogging on you for that, but the fact that you brag all the time, or the fact that he brags all the time that he gets all these animals gifted to him that are valuable to no ends, that some of us would never even be able to see in person, let alone own. And if he can handle it, great, awesome. And it looks like he can, up until he puts a sickly, deformed tortoise in with a breeding colony of torts just for personal gain. There's no regard to the animal's safety and well-being when doing such. He's got the space where he could set up rescues, he could set it up males and females, but he doesn't do that. All he does is puts that female right into his breeding existing herd, and once he confirms that it's a female, he keeps her there, because again, he's trying to make babies, trying to make profit. He doesn't actually care for the well-being of the animal, and this is speculation, but he doesn't care for the well-being of the animal only for the profits that he can gain. And that's really sad when you have such a following like Kenan, where you can do what's right and you have all the support to do what's right, but instead you do the complete opposite and still have the support of all these big name people and companies. It's crazy to me. However, I know, like I said, I know I'm going to get a lot of back and forth on this. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, but like I said, it needs to be talked about. And my opinion is just that. It's my opinion. It's pure speculation. However, the clip that I'm going to play after this, that gives you all the information that I have, and you can make your own assumptions off of it. You can make your own opinions off of it. That's what's beautiful about America. We have our own free will. So check that out. Comment down below what you think. Are you pro Kenan or negative Kenan?
Now watch what I'm gonna do. He started it, I'm gonna flip him over. Yep, so what I'm gonna do, one more time, is that. Keep this train rolling. Ah, this is what my day is. Now, I want to be careful when you flip them over is to not trap their leg, their hind leg. They can break if you roll them over and don't support that leg. So now I'm gonna flip them back over and we're gonna do it again. Gosh, this is a animal that definitely had some metabolic bone disease. My goodness. And yeah, this is gosh, this is just incredible. Kind of sad, to be perfectly honest. This is just not how tortoises are supposed to look. This is also why usually I don't take tortoises, because you know, they told me that this was an animal in good health, and I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure it eats and does its thing. Hey, little guy.
What's the deal with that? Why?
Well,
Why?
So
does that happen?
here's the scoop. This is not a case of regular pyramiding. This is actually a case of metabolic bone disease. So this animal was kept in improper conditions, to be perfectly honest. I hate to say it, I don't like to hurt people's feelings, but this is gross negligence in the diet and the UVB lighting of this animal. I don't know if it got nibbled by a dog here or something, because that's not how the shell's supposed to look. It looks like it was broken. Also, if you look at the tail's bent up, and that could be, this animal may have been in like a very small enclosure. And I'm just guessing, you know. When we add this little guy to the mix, you can just see how completely deformed the shell is. Okay, the saddleback, the really close spaced pyramiding. Let's see how this animal moves. I'm sure it's gonna have a strange kind of gait. If you notice, its legs are kind of splayed out. Look at this, there's the first interaction. Hey buddy. So they're looking at their new enclosure mate, their new pal. And let's keep an eye on them. About her, it's Lego. We're in the Redfoot enclosure. And funny story about Lego. Now, besides the fact that Lego is definitely special looking, those of you who know the channel and been watching for a while understand that this is a result of improper care. I got her sight unseen from someone up north who said they had a perfect tortoise, they just needed to rehome it. I opened up the box, and when I saw her, I was pretty much aghast. I was like, oh my gosh, this is definitely not perfect. However, she's kind of walked her way into my heart, this tortoise, and she's an ambassador for how not to raise a Redfoot tortoise.